One of the widest debates in the Pokemon franchise is which is the best starter Pokemon. With everyone having their own opinions and their own personal attachment to each Pokemon, everyone has their own entitlement to what they think is the best starter Pokemon. In this video, I'm going to go over the Scarlet and Violet Pokemon and see where they rank in my own personal opinion against some of the other Pokemon, and let's see if we have an on-top favorite. Yo, what's going on guys? My name is Toxplicity and I am a massive Pokemon fan. I've been playing Pokemon since the days of Gold and Silver, and I've loved the franchise the whole time. Scarlet and Violet, in my opinion, are one of my favorite Pokemon games. I've actually released a video recently going over why I like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet so much and comparing it to a couple of the other games. That link's going to be in the description below if you want to check that out. But in this video, I'm just going to go over some of my favorite starter Pokemon, and you're entitled to roast my opinions in the comments below. But just don't go too harsh, okay? You can have your own opinion and I have mine. So starting off with my favorite Pokemon type, and Quaxly. This is my water Pokemon tier ranking for the starter Pokemon. Piplup and Mudkip are two of my favorite Pokemon of all time, so they go in the S tier. Froakie and Totodile go in the A tier. Squirtle and Quaxly go into B because they weren't that bad, but I just feel like in their respective generations, I liked the other Pokemon better. And then Squabble, Oshawott, and Paplio go into C tier. I do like Oshawott a lot, and the additional form that it got in the Legends of Arceus games did help a little bit, but I just feel I chose other Pokemon in those generations a little bit more. Oshawott was one of the ones in Black and White that I didn't mind using, but as you'll see in the next slides, I do actually use some of the other Pokemon a little bit more. But Piplup and Mudkip are just some of my favorite Pokemon of all time. I have a lot of personal attachment to these two. So Quaxly kind of finds its way a little bit down the order in terms of water Pokemon, but that's just because water Pokemon are such a strong typing and there's so many water Pokemon to like. I mean, Froakie and Totodile are two of the best designed starter Pokemon in my opinion. Totodile, I have long history of Totodile. I love that Pokemon too. I just couldn't find myself putting it in S tier and packing out S tier. But let me know how you'd rank the water Pokemon below. Now, second up, we have probably a typing that I don't use too often, and that's grass types. This is quite hard for me because I do really like Turtwig and I do love Bulbasaur. I was going to put them both in S tier, but when it comes to Generation 4, I didn't really pick Turtwig too much just because my love of the other two starter Pokemon. Bulbasaur was my Generation 1 starter Pokemon and it will always be my Generation 1 starter Pokemon. You'll see on the fire list, I did put aside my personal feelings for the Generation 1 starter Pokemon Charmander and put it quite high up the list, but Treecko and Sprigatito, they're two good Pokemon. I do really like Treecko. Treecko in the anime was awesome, but we're not going to talk about the anime in this video. We're talking about the actual games. So Sprigatito finds itself in B tier here. I did pick Sprigatito in my Scarlet gameplay that I played, and my Violet starter, you'll see in a minute which one that was. But then the C tier is kind of packed with some of the starter Pokemon that I never used, and then the D tier goes to Chikorita, because when I used Chikorita, I just did not like it at all. If you're going to have a grass type starter, you may as well go with Bulbasaur. And then when it comes to Chikorita and then Totodile and then Cyndaquil, it's just so far down. So yeah, grass Pokemon I don't normally pick when it comes to starters, but this is my ranking for them. Let me know how you'd rank them below. So here we are with the final starter Pokemon typing, and that's fire type. As you'll see here, I put aside my personal feelings for Charmander and put it in S tier because it does deserve respect as a starter Pokemon. It can help you throughout your whole journey, and it's a good Pokemon at the end of the day. I just don't like how it gets treated and favorited a bunch of, like, ahead of every Pokemon, but that's another video for another day. Let's go into the A tier now. I just believe Fuecoco is the best starter Pokemon in Generation 9. Scarlet and Violet was just so much better once you started using Fuecoco, and it's just a beast of a Pokemon and it's so bloody cute. Cyndaquil, Torchic round out the A tier. They're just self-explanatory, I guess. And then B and C tier are Pokemon that I almost never used, but Tepig was one of the Pokemon that I started with in Generation 5. I was just very quick to swap out my starter Pokemon when it comes to those games, just because I have so many Pokemon that I really like in Generation 5 that I kind of neglected the starter Pokemon a little bit, but I did mostly start with Tepig. Tepig was pretty cool. I forgot to even mention Chimchar. Chimchar has to be one of my favorite Pokemon of all time, up there with Mudkip and also Piplup. this tier list on the fire types was definitely the hardest that I've had to pick from, but let me know how you'd rank this below. I just believe Charmander, personal feelings aside, one of the best starter Pokemon, and Chimchar is up there too. It's just a beast of a Pokemon, but I feel bad putting some of these Pokemon quite low. I might have to go back and try playing through the games with them just to see if I do like them and move them up a little bit, but this is how I rank the fire starter Pokemon. I know I'm gonna ruffle some feathers with these lists and rankings, but honestly, I had to try my best to be harsh. And if you don't agree with anything that I've said so far in this video, let me know down below your opinions instead. If I had to pick one Pokemon to start with, it's going to be a tie between Piplup and Chimchar. I just have fond memories of both those Pokemon growing up, and they're just two absolute beasts of Pokemon, and their designs are just awesome as well. They're both cute and evolve into absolute beasts of Pokemon, like Infernape and Empoleon are just amazing, super cool. And I'm a Gen 4 fanboy, also a Gen 5 fanboy, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that, but let me know down below, what's your favorite starter Pokemon of all time? Do you agree with my lists? I'd also love to see your opinions below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. I've got a couple more Scarlet and Violet ideas in mind to release in the next few weeks, so definitely keep an eye out for those. And then I guess we're on the hunt of discussing what the next game's going to be. Thank you guys so much for watching again. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you in the next video.